So, hi everyone. So, I'm Aline Menin. I am a postdoc at the I3S laboratory at the University Côte d'Azur. And on the contrary of what you saw up until now, I'm not going to show you how to create collaboration, but instead how to study collaboration data. Well, I'm going to show you what the work that we did in collaboration with the IRCAM and University Jean Monnet. It's an incremental and multimodal visualization of discography focused right now in the WASABI music knowledge base. So our motivation is, there are multiple data sets today available on the web that describe musical content. And this content is also described through different multimedia dimensions. So we have lyrics, we have chords, sounds, metadata about like the cultural context, etc. And it's a lot of data, so how to analyze it, right? We are going to focus on the WASABI dataset, which was created in the WASABI project of IRIA. This is a very large multidimensional dataset that describes mainly popular music. So it gathers metadata from multiple sources to describe songs, like with the name, genre, year of release, etc., albums and artists. So basically gathers data for over 2 million songs. We have over 200,000 albums and over 70,000 artists. And also we have data from natural language processing analysis of song lyrics and music, I forgot the word, MIR, analysis of audio content, music information retrieval, sorry, I don't know what is happening. So it's a very large database and the data is described over multiple dimensions. So how can we explore this data and extract meaningful knowledge from it? We have already, let's say, a start, something that can help us to see the metadata, which is the WASABI Explorer. It's basically a descriptive card where we can see all the metadata that WASABI has about a specific artist, a specific song, or a specific album, but this is not enough. Well, we think this is not enough. So what we want to do is to explore the potential of visualization to, first of all, facilitate the access to the data and highlight the relationships between structural elements of music. So we are going to focus in this work in three aspects: artist discography, which we consider to be the history of recorded music of an artist, and then artist collaboration, because well, we all know that artist collaboration tend to result in successful songs. So analyzing this kind of data helps to understand the impact of collaborative projects in artist careers and music style. And despite the importance and essential aspect of cultural context, the analysis of timbre annotations of the audio signal, as well as careful listening to the songs, is also essential when studying the acoustic characteristics of the songs. So we also integrate analysis of audio signal in this work. We haven't found actually in the literature a visualization that would allow us to explore all of these aspects. We can find some previous works that allow us to see the collaborative networks, and even over time, but we couldn't find anything that would give us what we wanted, which was to explore all those three aspects of the data. So we proposed our own approach. Basically, what we are proposing is a web-based interactive visualization tool to explore music data. It's called Movin, and it's accessible in this link here that I pointed with the wrong thing, in that link, where you can explore discography of artists. In this work, we are considering as discography only the studio albums in the original version of their release. So we are not considering best-ofs or any of this kind of releases, and collaboration between artists over time. And we are considering different kinds of collaborations, as if they work together to produce an album, to write a song, or they performed together a song. And we have a two-level collaboration network. So we study collaboration at the artist level and at the song level. Further, we include audio in our visualization to explore the potential of audio to assist the exploration of the data through audio thumbnailing techniques. And finally, we propose the visual exploration of musical information retrieval analysis of audio signal by connecting it to external services, in this case, Timeside, which is an online audio processing service. This was being presenting yesterday in the demo session for those who saw it. So basically, it allows us to create several kinds of analysis. Basically, these ones here in the right, from a audio file. And for this work, we chose a set of analysis that would be the experience of analysis for the Queen songs, actually. So basically, Timeside looks like this. In the top, we have the waveform of the song. Then we have all the analysis that we are going to create. In this case, will be the spectral centroid, spectral cortices, spectral slope, onsets, spectrogram, and the waveform again. So how does the moving approach works? We have two input data sources. We have the WASABI dataset, from which we extract the artist discography and collaborations. And we have a set of MP3 files where the audio is coming from. And from here, we are going to extract 3-second pieces of sound that would be the representative of that song. And then we combine this together as the input data of our visualization that looks like this. And I will show you how it works in the following. This visualization is also connected to external services, as I mentioned, Timeside and WASABI Explorer, so that we can have the audio signal analysis, but also more metadata about songs, albums, and artists, so that we can go back to the source of the data. So let's see how this works now. Okay. I actually believe that my computer was mirrored already. Sorry. Otherwise, I will not be able to use it. Okay, so here we are. So this is moving. Basically, it consists of, we have this upper menu here where we can choose one artist for which we want to explore the data. And then we have here the artist that we are exploring. And under here, we have the audio player where that we use to listen to the songs and discography. So what is this thing? This waveform basically describes the temporal profile of the artist, which is defined by the number of songs they have produced, performed, or written in a given year. So we can see, for example, here that Queen had a more productive moment in the 80s, for example, compared to the other years. The different colors here will represent then these different kinds of productivity. If they they performed the music, if they produced it, or if they composed it. And then we have the songs and albums being represented by these circles here. The white circle will represent an album, and the red circles represent the different songs that compose this album. So we can hover over the songs, and we have more information like about the name of the song, the year it was released, who are the producers, the composers, the performers, etc. And then we can explore this using audio. For that, we can use this audio player here in the close to the name of the artist, and then we will listen to the extracts of the songs like that. And we don't have song. So as you can see, the visualization follows the song. And I can control the volume or speed if I want to go faster. I can go forward in a different album, backward. Or if I just care for a particular album, I can go directly to the album and play it. And at the same time, I have the variations of spectrum, volume, and balance here. And also, I can just play a song that I like. Time after time, we are the champions. We are the champions. So this is basically how it works to explore the discography of the artist. Now, if you want to know with whom they worked over time, we can include their collaborators in the visualization. So here we have a list of people they collaborated according to the WASABI database. So I'm going to select Freddie Mercury. And you're going to tell me, of course, they collaborated. Freddie Mercury is a member of Queen. Yes. So, but just to show you this also a different way that we represent the songs here, because as you can see, there these first songs until 82 of Freddie Mercury, they are not in an album, which means in our visualization that Freddie Mercury worked in these songs, but these songs don't belong to him, just like the albums here belong. So in this case, if we go over the song, we will see that actually Freddie Mercury just wrote this song. Of course, he performed because he was a member of Queen, but Freddie Mercury as a solo artist only wrote the song. This is the idea behind. And then we can hover over the artist and you can see all the songs where they collaborated together. We don't know exactly from this point of view what they did together, but we see the years through that black line that shows when they were working together. Now, if you want to see, we want to know what they were doing together, we can zoom in a song. And then we will have the network at the level of the song, and we'll see exactly in what song they worked and what they did according to the colors here that represent, again, the fact that they composed, produced, or performed the song together. Further and last, so I mentioned the connection to external services. So I can select a song that I am interested in. For example, We Are the Champions. I click right and I have the possibility to see this, the metadata of this song in the WASABI Explorer. So if I click here, I paid my due. Oh. Okay. I will, if I go back and I go now to the time side, I will see then the waveform and all the analysis that are pre-calculated about that song, and then we can explore now in timeside. I don't go into the details of timeside because it's not the goal of the presentation, but you get the idea, I guess. Otherwise, you can play with it also. So let's go back to my presentation now. Let me just tell you 2 or 3 words on the interview we did with a domain expert to better understand the needs of the people in terms of exploring artist discography and collaboration data, and also to assess the extent to which moving can support those needs. So basically, the protocol is this. We asked some questions on what they need to see, what kind of attributes from the data, what kind of knowledge they need. And then we demonstrated the tool through a set of use case scenarios. We asked them what they like, dislike, and if they have suggestions for us. And finally, some feedback on the whole experiment. So basically, in terms of exploration needs, we could kind of verify that indeed exploring artist collaboration is interesting, and especially in terms of studying the influences of one artist on another, and identify the influence of styles through audio comparison. So these 2 points we kind of covered to some extent. And then 2 other points were raising, which was study the variation of music styles over multiple pieces of song, tempo, and instrumentations, and identify how collaborative projects are received by the public. So these are 2 things that we could further explore. And in terms of how they liked our visualization tool, so They did enjoy having the audio included, embedded in the visualization, and especially being able to see the variations of spectrum, volume, and balance, and control volume and speed. They also like to be able to focus on the production of a year and the collaborations. But here we found some usability issues because we have too many things being displayed at the same time, and we use the same color code for what kind of contribution an artist made and what kind of collaboration they did. So together, so sometimes it's difficult to see, which we need to work further to improve. The user also liked the tooltips and suggested that we include even more information that we already have, like the history of artists, for example. And they really liked the link with the external services and suggested to actually embed timeside in our visualization instead of going to another tab. So just to summarize, we are proposing today a kind of first version of an incremental and multimodal visualization approach to explore artist discography and collaboration. The visualization part of this tool is actually generic to any kind of collaboration network, like scientific collaboration network, for example. And in the future, we need to, well, address the usability issues that we found. And we have some things that we would like to work in terms of the audio thumbnail process that we are using, because now we are just extracting 3 seconds of sound in the middle of the song to represent the whole song, but this is not necessarily representative. So we would like to apply a technique based on song lyrics and audio content, and as well automatize the whole process. And most importantly, we would like to, well, not most importantly, but also important, we would like to do some user studies to, first of all, understand the usefulness and impact of our approach to analyze this kind of data, and especially to understand the impact of audio in the exploration process, and see if this can help indeed. Thank you, and I'll be happy to listen to your questions.
Thank you very much, Aline. So are there any questions?
Hi, thanks for the presentation. I was just wondering if this platform is accessible for the public, or is just meant to be private and only for research?
Well, it is accessible. You can literally go there and see the platform and use it. But it's still in a prototype kind of, but it's the first version, so we didn't like show to everybody. But the idea is that, I believe the idea is that it will be open for everyone that want to use it.
Do you have to deal with royalties in that case? I mean, using artist music, or how are you going to deal with this?
Well, I will leave for Michel to answer this question.
Okay. Thank you.
I was wondering how it works with classical music works and composers, because, for example, if you go on Discogs and you look at if you look at the page of Beethoven, it's a pain because everything is organized by artists, and you can't look at the list of works by Beethoven. So how does it work if you type Beethoven here?
Oh, here particularly, it won't work. I have a pretty not good explanation for it. It's because it's a prototype, so we are working on a group of data, but normally this is connected, it will be connected to the WASABI knowledge base. So the idea is that I can come here. Right now I don't have 4 artists because it's our case study for the paper, but the idea is that I will tape Beethoven and I will go to the WASABI if the data exists, bring the data and visualize it. Okay, so Beethoven will never work.
Sure. I think this is really, really quite cool, and I'd be really curious to hear if you have plans to, instead of looking back at music, start working with contemporary artists, and then maybe as a recommendation engine for future collaborations, based on who you've worked with. I think that would be particularly interesting.
Gotta say that we didn't think about that yet. Well, we think we want to continue the work, but we haven't like sit down and say what we are going to do next. Well, next we'll be working with the influence of artists, but well, not that aspect specifically. We didn't talk about that yet. It could be interesting, yeah. Why not? Yeah, let's talk.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, how would you add your own music to the WASABI database? Is there a way to upload metadata?
It isn't, right, Michel?
Mhm.
But we've got all the script, so we could update it, but it's complicated to add. It's not meant for users to add some data today, because we need to consolidate layers, make conflicts, fix things when we are aggregating the metadata from. We are using more than 20 data sources. We've got a PhD thesis about how to detect errors that are still in the data set. So yes, technically it would be possible, but I think if we are doing big updates, there will be big updates. But so far the platform, the data set is not meant to be user controlled.
Yeah, thank you. That answers it. One more thing, maybe I read something about music brains and.
Yeah, we use music brains as a data set.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Michel. I think it was interesting to come back to the issue of the classical music, because there's something interesting in that, and with your answer. So does it mean that with classical music you don't find enough tags or metadata to process, or you don't you have the kind of interpretation or performance with classical music doesn't give enough stability to make a graph? Or did you ask yourself the question, or you just focus on pop music first to one group? And do you ever think about dealing with classical music? And by saying that, the thing that I find would be interesting is that to think about contemporary music, it is the issue square too. And so I was wondering the process and what you, because for an example, there is several versions of the same piece of work.
Yeah.
And you can compare also not the classical music in itself, but maybe some performance by Glenn Gould, for an example, who has made all the back pieces at the piano, and others have made the same thing. So I would like to know more about the limitations.
Okay, well, I haven't really asked myself that question, because this project was born from WASABI. So we kind of focus on the issues that WASABI would pose to this visualization. But of course, they're very interesting question, because the idea is that we could generalize this for any kind of music. But I don't have any.
I can give maybe another answer. When we started the WASABI project, there was another ANR project, another French project called Doremus. Yeah, and Doremus was about classical music and making a data set about classical music, using also semantic web ontologies for describing the content and so on. So we were well located on just a building next to the people from Eurecom working on the project. So we collaborated in a way, but it was quite different because here you've got artist albums and songs, and as you said, for classical music you've got works and you've got performances, and it's completely different. But what Aline showed is a more a way to represent things, and that is very you say everything at once here. So you got the sound, you got thumbnails, you've got different type of work like production and so on. So you couldn't imagine having such a visualization. Aline is doing a postdoctorate here, and now is an assistant professor about data visualization. So what should be interesting is yes, okay, I like this kind of visualization that mixes sound and graphics and animation and so on. So maybe let's apply this to classical music and replace production maybe by performance or whatever. So I think this is the interesting point in this work. Also, normally this thing is could be adapted easily to any other data set if we can request them. Of course, you will have to adjust things, but
sorry, I was thinking to myself about, for an example, the career or performer, or particular pianist or particular chief director, orchestra directors. And that could be very interesting too.
Actually, in more general terms, we are already thinking on how to represent this different kind of data, because as I said, we could use this like for scientific collaboration. But if we think about that, and we think about like we have papers, we have different kind of papers, we have different kind of works. So it's kind of the same problematic. We are working on it. We don't have the solution yet. But indeed, we would have to change some kind of the representation, maybe a glyph or something that allow us to represent multiple dimensions of the data in one only graphic element or something. It's a work in progress.
Thank you very much.
Great, so great conversations. Let's give another round of applause to Aline and the team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.